We're actually recording. Welcome to the Cement City Chatter podcast. It's myself. It's Tim Wilkins. We're here at an empty table, waiting.
Are we actually recording?
On the arrival.
We need like one of these big
of John Opolka.
On the air flashing.
Tiffany took off, but
yeah.
Oh, here he comes. There he is. The man, the myth, the legend, John Mr. Opolka.
What's
going on? What's going on?
I tell you what, like we've shown that
have we been recording?
We can replace about anybody on the show except for John, honestly.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, maybe Rob. Maybe we need Rob.
No, you can replace me. You can always find somebody that just won't
it's just
shut up.
equally good looking and loud.
I mean, loud.
It's fair.
Good looking is definitely a stretch, but what you can't duplicate are the skills and the technical ability of John Opolka.
That's what I'm saying.
When it comes to
I'm just going to
tuning a
continually
microphone,
refer to him as the one professional among us.
He is the one professional among us. He's the quiet, timid, but oh so vicious.
Somebody make a note to tell Tiffany to change his little bio paragraph on the website to the one professional among us.
What is my bio paragraph right now?
Something about flipping off Karens.
Oh, I'm good at that though. I like that. I hate
Karens. I don't know.
We'll work that part in too.
You know what I hate? Do you know? You want to know what I really hate? And you probably don't want to talk about this.
Okay.
But I hate the Amy MCs of the world.
Amy and C's. Okay,
so we do have a personal story we're going to discuss here.
Okay, our guest today is cast member.
Yeah, you're right. I don't want to talk about it.
No, we do.
I think we're going to. I think we're going to.
What happened?
This is a problem.
Tell me what happened. Because let me tell you, you're not the only person that's had issues with certain people.
So I will say this. Okay,
the group of Karens. I've been deleted and redeleted and redeleted and redeleted.
I do that to you just for fun sometimes.
No, like that woman has literally deleted me and blocked me, and then somebody called her and said, "Hey, did you see what Rob's doing? He's doing it," and it's maybe something that she likes at the time, so I get unblocked.
But the problem I have is the fact that someone can publicly approach you during your own, and to be in, I don't know.
So what happened?
I want you to explain what happened.
What's the story?
Well, okay. I mean, I was publicly accosted by somebody who didn't like something about the way a particular Facebook group was run.
Right.
And so the staff of Midlothian Talk have just occasionally have to endure angry people.
Yeah.
And it's people who don't have a good sense of perspective most of the time. If you say drop an F-bomb and get your comment removed, I don't know why that's a surprise.
And
and
I have done that
like that.
I have done that on MT many times.
Sure.
And I've been my hands have been slapped and I've had restrictions put on me, but I have promised to play nice and
but it's a Facebook group, right? I mean,
it's not. It's a Facebook group, and you should know that Midlothian Talk is and you'll be the first to say there's plenty of off or sidebar community pages that people have left and started,
So I jokingly say that like Midlothian Talk is not only the largest city Facebook group, it has also spawned the most Facebook groups. Because
correct. So there's not a shortage. There's not a shortage of Facebook pages to drop F-bombs on.
Right. Well, yeah. So
and I tell people all the time when they complain about what's wrong.
Nothing. You keep moving the camera.
Who is?
Sorry.
Technical
I don't
difficulty.
think people really want to see me
Yes,
anyway.
they do.
Well,
here's the deal. I tell people all the time, you don't see me post a lot on Midlothian Talk. I look at it. I follow. I pay attention to current events. But unless it's just there's just no reason to.
I will say this.
It's a different type of group.
Like the first thing I will tell you is that, people who are active in Midlothian Talk, you will get recognized around town. Like if you have a picture of yourself on your profile, for example.
Right.
And the vast majority of encounters that I've had, people say, I know you from somewhere. And now I have a pretty generic face, and so, I usually attribute it to that. But a lot of times people recognize me from posting on Midlothian Talk. And it is a really positive experience. You know, they will say that they appreciate the group. They appreciate the stuff that's posted for the most part. You know, the discourse that happens in the group, the discussions that are had. You know, these are relevant, timely discussions, and a lot of times. Now, are there the occasional, you know, negative posts or whatever? Yes, and for whatever reason, sometimes if you're not going into the group directly and you're just looking at your feed, you may see a disproportionate amount of, you know, what you might refer to as negative posts. But if you go into the group and just start at the top and just start scrolling down, it is, you know, community people helping each other, you know, lost pets. My favorite one today was there's a guy named Singh that works at Kroger.
Yes, saw that and I saw Chris Douglas, you know, co-sign on that deal too.
Exactly. So you know, we have this angel of a man who works at Kroger apparently.
Makes me want to go meet him.
Well, why? No, tell me about this.
So you know, a lady who was just kind of struggling at the end of her rope.
It's a bad day for her.
You know, you get these days where just things aren't going right. You know, so she's got, you know, kids in each hand and her groceries or whatever, and she's putting her kid in the car.
Mind you, it was the anniversary, 6th anniversary of a child death too. So it was just a horrible day for her altogether.
It was the anniversary of one of her children's death. All these things, and just as she's getting in the car with her groceries, she dropped a gallon of milk and it burst. Okay. And she was at the point of tears at that point, and Singh saw it, and he just said, hey, hang on a sec. He ran back in, got her gallon of milk. She didn't have to get her kids out of the car.
Yeah.
And he just brought her another gallon of milk. And that sounds so simple, but it was at such a good time for that lady. And she, you know, she felt compelled to talk about it in front of 35,000 plus people.
One act of kindness.
Yeah.
That's all it takes, one act.
And then speaking of acts of kindness, I was kind of blown away. Did you guys not see last night on Facebook, somebody posted that they're the two daughters from Dietrich's that went missing. 200-300 people in Midlothian started, I'm driving up the street now. I mean, like everybody, I'm not say everybody, but just a large amount of people in the community commented that they were out looking, and you know it. And
the kids were found.
And I don't know what the deal was.
They were found safe, and you know, it was by somebody who was alerted that they were missing on Midlothian Talk.
Yeah.
So you know, there is a really positive way of using this platform that we have. You know, where there are tens of thousands of people who see what's on there locally. And so as a moderator, you know, Tiffany here on the show, she's a moderator also. We are actively trying to shape the group into more of a community. And we want people to participate in the community. Now, we have a problem with advertising. Okay, there are a lot of people.
So do we on Buzz.
On Buzz, yep. And I've seen that, and I've
had to really go through and clean house.
With you. Yeah. And so there are a lot of people who think that, you know, Midlothian Talk is a, you know, custom-made 35,000 person audience for their ads. And
well, like, you know, if you want your ad to get out there, that's when you pay for a sponsored ad.
Yeah.
And I do it all the time with my business, with the podcast. Yep. I'll put sponsored ads out there. I'll run a $25 ad. And basically what it does is it hits a target audience within a certain age group within your geographical area.
Right.
You know?
And we are absolutely, yes. And that is a wonderful way to advertise it. Yes, that is a wonderful way to advertise. Now, and we are fully in support of local people talking about local businesses, okay? We don't want to we don't want to have the group spammed up, so to speak. You know, we don't want all the posts to be somebody just posting about their own business. But yeah, I love it.
So how do you guys do that as far as when it's campaign season? Because it's not spam, but it's also something that a lot of people get off-put about.
That is a fantastic question. So we have a general no politics rule, you know, on a day-to-day basis. And so what we do, you know, as you know, we're also very involved in politics. The no politics rule was really meant for people who would spam the group up with presidential campaign ads or things like that. Things.
So
that
are you
local.
more lenient on local?
Well, we have one of the nice things, and actually the candidates in the past years when we've done this have been very encouraging for us to keep doing this. We have a very structured process. For example, I'd have to look at the date, but I think it's next Saturday or the Saturday after. Every local candidate, school board and city council, and if there are any county candidates in the group, they will be able to post about their campaign, about themselves, pretty much anything they want people to know. One post with a hashtag that says elections 2023 in the group, and then that one post will be memorialized and bumped to the top, by people asking them questions and that sort of thing. We're also going to feature the Cement City Chatter podcast links for each candidate on there as well.
Yeah, I've seen that they've been up there already for the ones that have been published. The Alan Mormon podcast. We have the come on, my mind just went blank. Who all of we had so far?
Wayne.
Okay,
Yep.
and then of course coming. Depending on when you're watching this podcast.
Right. So we recorded 2 today. This is our 3rd podcast in a row. We've been here since we've been here 3 hours now.
Yeah.
We recorded an interview with Walter Dara, who is running for. He is the incumbent running for place 2, and we just recorded an interview with Ed Gardner, who is seeking election for place 5, the special election.
Yeah. So. And in between, Marnie Opolka made us peanut butter Rice Krispie treats.
Oh man, I tell you what,
they're amazing.
I'm trying to do keto,
salami,
but
it's like crack to me.
Marnie is just,
but it's like crack to me. Last night I said before we went to bed, she went to bed, and I started my nightly puppy duty. I said, "Mom, Marnie, will you please make me some Rice Krispie treats?" And she said, "I'll do that today." So she did.
Speaking of puppy duty,
hang on, and I get up and I have 3. Mm-hmm. You guys have completely wiped out that entire bacon sheet. So now she's gonna have to slave over the stove and make some more.
I just had one piece, just to be clear. That was one more than I should have had, but I really enjoyed it.
Right. So I was actually, I had a meeting today, and we were talking about just some of the stuff in the community, and I was talking about this is relevant to the snack issue, but so my youngest son, who's a sophomore, so his freshman year, first year in Midlothian Heritage High School, and he had only been in the district. That was his second year in the district. So new high school. A lot of these kids have gone to school with each other, for 5-6 years. He's a new kid on the block or whatnot. And so he rode home from school every day for a while with Bo, who, John and Marnie's son, who was a senior at the time, vice president or president of the FFA, big guy, brand new truck, just,
Yeah, which he didn't like.
At the time, Brendan was Brendan was, believe it or not, he's getting bigger now, but he was a small kid, and, it just kind of gave him some confidence. And anyways, he'd come over here after school and wait to be picked up. Well, it didn't take long for Brendan to notice all the snacks that they keep here in the Old Polka Palace.
Man, I tell you what, I mean, they call it an Old Polka Palace for a reason, man.
So that
I roll
Christmas,
in here, and no matter what you want to eat, no matter what you want to drink, it is here for you.
Oh, it is. And so that Christmas, I get a big box from John and Marnie, and I open it up, and it's just full of bulk
snacks,
M&Ms, cashews, hot tomato. I don't remember what it was all in there, but all of these snacks. And you know what? I will tell you, ever since then, we've kept up with it.
Yeah.
We have the snacks in our house, just like they have here in the Old Polka Palace, because my kids demand them.
I went over to your house the other day. I forgot what I was doing, but I was picking up something.
Dad, didn't you grab a big jar or something?
Oh, you had those jelly bellies on the counter. And,
oh yeah, yeah.
In true Rob fashion, I did exactly what he does here. The minute I walked in, I didn't say anything to him. I went straight to his snack drawer.
Yeah.
Reached my hand in, got a big old meat claw full of them, and then I was off.
Yeah, those were jelly beans. Yeah. So we did my household. We do the Costco run every week. So I didn't realize that snacks were just having those snacks were that important to
Snacks
the kids.
are a
and so-
thing. Yeah, they are. You gotta have snacks.
the problem is I find myself eating a lot of them.
No.
Tim, you've polished off a half-gallon bucket of peanut butter M&Ms.
Man,
You guys are
I'm on
you
keto.
guys are a
Keto. He's on
dumpster,
keto.
a snack dumpster. So hey, I want to circle back to what I originally started the podcast on, and you guys are really good at diverting questions. But when is it and when is it not all right to accost somebody in the middle of a coffee shop in the morning because they don't agree with what happened online? I mean,
What
I
is
think
a
this lady
cost? First
showed-
of all, what is a cost?
accosted.
Costed.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was verbally
said it wrong.
attacked.
You were verbally
And
attacked. And then your personal
she wanted
life
to
was
make
drugged
it-
through it.
yeah,
In which, it's not right to bring in your personal life to anything because it had nothing to do with the conversation other than the fact that she's bitter that she got taken off of a group. And you may not even taken her off the group. It might have been someone else that did it. But instantly you were targeted.
Well, ironically, she had kicked me off of another group, and I don't even know that I was the one
Midlothian conservatives.
Yeah.
I just have to. I know
Yeah,
that that's
yeah.
what it is because I think that's the only
I'm
other
back
group I
in
knew
there.
she was.
The lady that is the actual admin of that group had me back in. She didn't know I was removed. It's fine. So, ironically, she had kicked me out of a group, was mad that she thinks I kicked her out of a group, and maybe I did. Maybe it was one of the other admins. But then she started, talking about all the other admins about how we're all thin-skinned. And I was thinking to myself, well, isn't that ironic that you're calling someone thin-skinned by making a scene in public about, a Facebook group?
It was completely classless.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a fan, but I just walked away. I walked away, and she left, and we all went on with our lives, and here we are. So
No class.
But speaking of, speaking of Midlothian Talk, as you know, lots of lost pets, and my trash didn't get picked up. When's the next day it's coming by? Kind of things. Just day-to-day functioning of the city, but occasionally there are some things that just blow up. And right now we're in the middle of three things that are just, huge topics of conversation. First, you guys know about the school bonds?
No.
I don't know anything about the school bonds.
Okay, so this is a great opportunity for you to learn. You like to talk about how you're not in the city, so you're not able to vote for city council. You are, of course, in the school, the ISD. So the school board met last Monday. From when we're filming this on a Thursday, it was 4 days ago.
Right.
They met and voted to pass certain bond propositions through to the voters. Now, Midlothian City does this with their bonds and the ISD, and not every place does this, and I really like that Midlothian does this. They put the final say on the bonds is in the hands of the citizens, the people who will be paying for the bonds.
Wow.
Okay, so there are 3 bonds that were put forward to be on the ballot, I think, this May. So this next election, I think we'll have these
I
3.
believe it is this May, and I know that because I know there was a point in time where, I was asked to pay attention to the bond committee.
And we're going to have Tammy Toby, the school board president, on our podcast soon to specifically talk about this.
Yeah.
So there are 3 propositions. Basically, Proposition A, they're actually designated Proposition A, B, and C. Okay, so Proposition A is a little over $350 million. We're talking complete new schools, like additional schools being built, with
Which
this
would
money.
be another high school.
So just looking at this list here, new elementary school number 9, new elementary school number 10.
Yep.
Career and technical education center. Man, I can get behind that.
Yes.
I want to see our school have auto mechanic programs.
I agree.
Welding.
Yes.
Electrician, plumbing. Yes.
Trade geared.
Trade. Yes.
Yeah.
This bond is for land acquisition, an MHS addition / renovation. So we all know we built a second high school about 8 years ago, I believe, and we have already added on to it So this will be adding on to the original high school yet again. Okay, this is not the first edition.
Well, my son took auto and welding in Mansfield when he went.
But you know what? But you can have. I think they have welding already in
they have
ag.
a welding class,
but it's an ag.
A single class.
Yeah, because
they
Brendan
don't have a program where you can graduate.
Okay, but
into
it's part of ag, I believe.
Yeah, okay, so they do have some trade classes.
Marnie would know that.
They're individual classes, and they're not entire programs that lead into a journey.
Gotcha.
Sort of thing after graduation. But this is a renovation for Frank Seal, a renovation and addition for Mountain Peak, renovation for Long Branch, Vitovsky, a new transportation facility, and something that I think a lot of people will think is much needed, an addition to the ag barn. Okay, from what I hear, the ag barn is a little bit dilapidated. It's old and could really use some space, and so that's this Proposition A. Okay, Proposition B is a little over 48 million. So the first one was 356. The second one is 48. All right. The second one is storm shelters. Okay.
Yeah.
Now that first bond I talked about, all those additions and renovations, they include storm shelters being retrofitted into those schools and into the 2 new elementary schools. Okay.
So do they build those big enough for all? I mean, no more getting in the hallway.
Right.
No, that's stop, drop, and rolls if you're on fire. Something duck and cover.
Yeah. Well, so they're wanting to make the students safe while they're at school, and I don't know this, but in a lot of school districts have community plans to where people outside the school can seek shelter in some cases.
Right.
I don't know if that's what's going on here. I can't speak to that, but. Looks like there are 5 different schools listed for $48 million to get storm shelters. That's T.E. Baxter, McClatchy, LaRue, Walnut Grove, and Frank Seal. Okay. Proposition C, the smallest one, it's a little over $11 million, and it's for athletic improvements.
Right.
Looks like restrooms, bleachers, baseball, softball fields at Heritage, and Walnut Grove tennis courts. So
okay.
Anyway, those are the 3 bonds.
I don't have any problems.
And they're
with
hot.
That.
Well, so they all sound like something that would be a real benefit to the school system. Okay, and I can understand if you're for some of these things, and I can understand if you're against them.
It's not like it said, let's put another football practice field on Heritage.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, we already have that. But
yeah.
So the things that gets me is. I've taken to calling them cave people, okay? And cave is an acronym. Citizens Against Virtually Everything, okay? There are a subset of people who, vote, participate in social media. It doesn't matter what it is; they're just against it.
Yeah.
I'm against growth. I'm against bonds. I'm against spending any money. I'm against raising taxes. I'm against having taxes. I'm against lowering taxes. I'm against so. These are all complicated issues, and they require consideration. And so when you have informed voters that are taking the time to consider the proposition and the alternative, that's when you have the best chance of the city doing well. So it's fine to be for this. It's fine to be against it. Just be informed about what it is. So the most passionate people right now, because this is so early in the process, the most passionate people seem to be the people who are the cave people and just against everything. Okay?
Right.
So, by the way, that Proposition A, there is no tax rate impact. In other words, the existing school tax is high enough, and we will be paying off existing bonds. So those payments that we're going to be saving can just be rolled straight into the new Proposition A. Okay.
Right.
A and B together, $404 million. There would be a 2-cent tax rate impact. That comes out to $4.20 a month for the median home in Midlothian. So you look at I think $350 or something like that is like the median home price. There's enough real estate experts that listen to this podcast. Somebody's going to correct me, and I welcome it.
And that's fine.
It's around $350, but that's going to affect your taxes in a $350,000 house $4.20 a month. Okay. Now, anybody else catch that the school put out something about $4.20? Anyway, I'm just going to amuse myself with that. But the yeah, that's a minimal impact any way you look at it. You know,
not too bad.
So if you vote, if all three pass, there's a 2.6 cent tax rate impact, which is a little over five. It's $5.54 a month for that same $350,000 house. So yes, a lot of people are against raising taxes. No, I don't think $5.54 a month is going to impact somebody living in a $350,000.
So how do you think that's going to go over with the public? Just your opinion.
Well, I mean,
because you're going to have a lot of people that are just
absolutely.
dead set on absolutely
I
no
think
taxes,
we
no
already
bond,
see it.
no,
you know. You're 100% right. We already see there are the people who are like, no taxes, no additional taxes ever. And for those people, oh, great. Okay, so Proposition A won't raise your taxes at all, period. So there you go.
Yeah.
You know,
and you can vote A and not B, Prop A, Prop B.
Yeah, you'll be able to vote these individually, from what I understand. So, you know, the if you just do A, it won't go up. If you do B and C, it'll go up a minimal amount.
Yeah.
I mean, we're like, you literally can't even buy lunch once a month for what they're talking about it going up. So, anyway, so that's one of the things that is just blowing up on Midlothian Talk. Another one is the 4-day school week.
Yeah.
You know, I know
my household's all for it. Apparently,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gone.
They didn't want Fridays off.
I'm not a homemaker. I'm gone
So is it
every
Friday
day.
or is it a Monday off? Because I would rather have Mondays off than Fridays.
I'm hearing Midlothian is considering Monday.
Yeah.
Okay, none of this has been voted on. None of it's set in
Right.
stone. What has happened is there has been an informal poll sent out by the school to some households, and the feedback on that, it was sent out to parents and teachers, okay? And, you know, we can get down in the weeds and talk about, oh, this tiny little group didn't get it, like I didn't get it, but like this tiny little group didn't get it that should have, or whatever, but that's not statistically relevant.
How did you not get it? You have children in MISD.
Well, MISD will only send to one household per kid.
So the reason my wife and I both got them is because we have a blended family. So
Right.
she got it for her and I got it for Brendan.
Exactly. Yeah. So the 4-day week. So here's an interesting thing about the 4-day week. When the poll came back, there were twice as many people that wanted it as didn't want it.
Right.
Okay. And you know, you can pick apart the poll scientifically, whatever, but that's just kind of the general feeling of the community as polled. Now, there are also viewpoints from people who weren't polled because they don't have kids in the school.
Yep.
Okay. But these people pay taxes. All right. They expect our community to have good schools, and their opinion on what makes a school good may include how many days a week it goes.
So
Okay?
but when you go to a 4-day week, I mean, okay, so the day's going to be longer, or are they going to make the school years longer? Or, I mean, how's that going to work? Because you're going to have to make up for the days that you're not here.
That is a great question. Okay, my understanding, and again, this is all preliminary, nothing's been voted on or set in stone, but what they're looking at is the 4 days, which I guess right now it would be Tuesday through Friday. Those 4 days would be about half an hour longer. I don't remember if it's half an hour or an hour, but it is making those 4 days a little bit longer. Okay, and the kids would go to school 4 days. The teachers would be working 5 days.
Right.
Okay. Now here's something interesting.
But the teachers get a day to kind of regroup and plan and game plan. And so essentially you might have more effective teaching.
Okay. So I assumed, all right, not being a teacher, that all the teachers would think this is great. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm happy to, you know, give an extra half an hour to the kids these 4 days. And then on Friday, I'll do my grading and, you know, all the stuff that you need to do as a teacher, all the admin. Okay. That right now, you know, as far as I know, teachers are using their own time on nights and weekends and that sort of thing to do this. And so my thought was, oh, all teachers are going to love this because they'll be able to get their nights and weekends back because they're doing all this stuff on a Friday.
Correct.
Well,
And some teachers have children in school themselves, you know, that they need to. I'm for it, man.
well, okay,
you know what?
so-
If it's good for the masses, it's good for me.
and that's
Just because
one thing that surprised me was I was eating at my son's favorite restaurant in town, Hibachi-O.
Yep. Big fan.
He loves
Yum.
loves the
Love
Emperor's
Hibachi-O.
rice.
You know
Yeah.
what? I'm really upset they took away from the tuna tower, or the Midlothian Tower, they call it.
Yeah,
They got rid of it completely.
yeah.
And you know, that to me was, I would always get, when I would go, I get two rolls. I get two items. I would get the Midlothian roll, Main Street roll, and then I would get the tower.
Every third time I go, I get $10 off.
Yes.
Me too, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Same.
It just doesn't, because you got to figure like my household, I'm usually give me 4 chicken fried rices, 3 sushi rolls, and so about every 2 to 3 times you go, you know, you've
I have
got
2 teenage boys.
exactly.
With
I wanna-
me, like, you know, yeah, it's like bringing an army.
I want to reach out
They
to
don't
the owner.
require much to get $10 off, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But no, I want to reach out to the owner and have him on the show, because I personally want to request
is
that they
very-
that they bring that menu item
He's
back.
very involved with the
Really,
community.
I'm serious.
No, he,
Can y'all make this happen? Because I
Yeah,
really
Literally,
I'll reach out
you're
to him.
literally
Yeah.
going to use your city podcast
Yeah,
to
absolutely,
bring
yes.
back a menu
Yes.
item.
Yes.
when I was there, I was sitting kind of at the big table in the middle. We had a bunch of people, a couple different families together, and I noticed there were 2 ladies wearing MISD T-shirts, kind of standing over to the side. I think they were waiting for the ladies' restroom. I'm not 100% sure, and so they were standing physically close enough that, like, you know, it wasn't uncomfortable to just talk directly to them. So I turned around and I just said, "Hey, you know, do you work for the district?" And she said, "Yes, I'm a teacher." And I won't say her name and I won't say what school
No,
she's at.
yeah.
But I said, "Hey, what do you think as a teacher about this 4-day work week thing?" And she said, "Not having it."
Really?
And I thought I was shocked. I was shocked. And what she articulated to me was that there are a few teachers, you know, some teachers that think that if you have to go in on that Friday or Monday or whatever without the students, it's not worth it. It's not worth the extra time during the 4 days. They want a shorter day than, you know, during the week. And so that was great. I appreciated that she was willing to talk to me about that and shared something with me that I never would have thought of, you know, not being a teacher. So,
Right.
So there are definitely some, you know, different opinions on this. People are getting very passionate about it, especially online and social media. So that's what's blowing up.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good for whatever works for the teachers. You know, I'm not so much concerned with the kids. Yeah, we get another weekend day, as much as I am the teachers being more effective, honestly.
Yeah, and
You know?
I don't have a lot of skin in the game. You know, I have 4 kids, as a lot of people know. The 2 that are still in school, not off at college, they're at MHS, and you know they want a 4-day week because they just want to go to school less.
Yeah.
And you know, personally, with the way that, you know, custody or possession is structured, I would get more time with them, and so that benefits me. But I'm not one of the parents who's going to have to seek out like a daycare program
Correct.
or
Yeah.
anything like that, because that is some of the most passionate voices I've seen are the people who, you know, what are we supposed to do with our kids while we're at work? You know, they're too young to stay home, that sort of thing.
Well,
So-
my sister's one of the counselors at Waxahachie High School.
Mm-hmm.
My brother-in-law, they've been educators for, you know, 20 plus. I mean, they're getting close to retirement now. Anyways, my brother-in-law, he said he's for it. He said it's time to attempt a new way to educate this generation of kids. My sister, she wished they'd go to 4 days. Said they're going to lose all their teachers to the districts that are, because it's going to be a staffing issue. Because the teachers that do want 4-day weeks, well, they'll just go to a district that does it.
Right. It's being couched to the community as a recruiting tool for teachers. We have a teacher shortage, and that may not be evident to everyone because, you know, they go register their kid for school and their kid goes to school. So certainly there's not a teacher shortage. Well, what's happening is the classes are getting bigger, the facilities are getting more full, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And there's not more teachers to accommodate the more kids. So, you know, is it a great recruiting tool? I'm sure it is for somebody. You know, how much it's going to affect certain people. Again, the most passionate voices I'm hearing online are the ones that it will be a financial hit to go to a 4-day week because they need to seek some sort of care for that their kids on that 5th day because maybe the adults in the family all work, whether it's, you know, the single parent situation, you know, or a dual income family.
Yeah.
So, and you know, the economy is not improving right now. You know, like we're all feeling it that, you know, you've seen all the egg jokes around, you know, floating around the,
you're right.
You know, the internet, that just everything's more expensive.
Yeah.
I noticed that just,
I had to sell my house in Martha's. No, that was Miami. No, Nantucket.
Martha's
San Francisco, one of them. I'm just playing.
Yeah, but so, you know, like even going to Chick-fil-A, I don't know if you guys noticed this or if you go to Chick-fil-A enough, but their meals went up about $1.
No, I haven't eaten God's chicken in a while. It's so
that's
expensive.
Fair. That's fair.
It's almost like,
it is. Well, yeah, but I mean, even McDonald's.
I bet my son would know. He eats there every day, but with my credit card, so I bet you know he's got no idea.
I feel that if you saw my Chick-fil-A app and how many points I had.
Do your kids DoorDash on you? Do you have a DoorDash count from them? You know,
I don't like DoorDash, but our Chick-fil-A here, the one run by John Melander, they deliver themselves. You can opt for a DoorDash delivery. I only want that Chick-fil-A delivery.
Yeah. Well, what about you, John? I mean, the DoorDash has been okay with Brendan because he's here, there, but what I noticed is I'd start seeing the DoorDash the charges come through, you know, when I get a text. You know, but then I'd look at it and he's literally DoorDashed a bag of Takis and a Sprite from 7-Eleven.
Well, you know, we don't DoorDash.
It's going beyond just feeding himself, you know, making sure he's got. Now he's ordering snacks.
We don't DoorDash because, you know, it's an added expense. You know, the amount that DoorDash costs, I can get another hamburger or
a whole other meal.
Whatever,
but you know
what?
Meal. But you're also so centrally located. It's you don't mind jumping into town to go pick something up.
No, we jump in the electric car.
56 cars.
It basically costs maybe a half a cent to go to town and back 4 times.
Well, that or you always. I mean, you know, John, you guys have a new fleet of cars every 6 months. It seems like lately. So you've always got something new you want to take for a spin.
Yeah, sometimes that's the excuse just to get out of the house so you can go.
Hey, I literally got home last night, was already laying down for bed, and I was like, I don't know what made me think about it, but I was like, I didn't see my car.
Where's my Corvette?
In John's shop. So I texted him. I was like, is my car not in your shop? I didn't remember seeing my car right there. And I mean, I knew it'd be there. It wasn't outside.
Sorry, was that my cue to talk about your new Corvette?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought maybe.
Well, the same thing happened with another vehicle. I was like, John, where's that at in the trailer? Okay, look, man.
Well, if
that ain't cue for get your crap out of here.
No. Listen, we had a storm brewing, and we thought we were going to get hail. And whenever that happens, we go into a mad rush. We want to make sure everyone's vehicles are protected. So obviously, we got ours in first. We shoved them all in the north end of the shop. We took the slingshot, we put it in the trailer because it fits in the trailer perfectly. And then we stuffed the Corvette.
It would fit in the back of some of the trucks that you have.
No, that slingshot is big. That's the size of a Honda Civic, if not a little bit wider. But we put it in the trailer, and then we shoved the Corvette in the corner over there. We got everything in.
That's the best thing about moving. I'll be able to keep everything in one place because you're right. When the storms come, it's a mad dash. And over the last few years, for me, there's just nothing I can do about it. Run to somebody's house, that's got the space, or just.
And we don't mind keeping it here because it's out of our way. It's just when things like that happen, we have to make adjustments. So we shove everything in here we can. And I think at one time we've had almost 8 cars. We had 8 cars in here in 3,600 square foot shop. And and I'd say 800 of it is the man cave area. So
where we're sitting,
we've got pretty efficient on stacking and packing.
Yeah.
But all that's about to change. I'll be able to keep everything in one spot.
Well, when storms hit, if certain people have their way, people will be able to take shelter in the new city rec center.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was a terrible segue. So,
ladies and gentlemen, we're brought to you by
the Midlothian Rec Center.
Yeah,
That's never going to happen, right?
So no. So here's what has
man. I
happened.
bet you had a city councilman tell me it could be 10 councils from now.
Why? I mean,
okay. So
so why do you guys think a rec center is going to be so good? Because generally, like, okay, let's use Dallas as an example. That usually is where the riffraff ends up happening.
Well, this is not up for discussion. The rec center bond has been approved. Okay, so it went before the citizens of Midlothian. It was, I think it might have.
But that's why the city's going to try to do the deal with the YMCA so they don't have a traditional rec center.
Now,
you got to be a member.
That's off the table.
Well,
yeah,
good.
That's done.
Well, good, because it would hurt some of our local business owners that own gyms.
So, okay, so I'm as the token libertarian here, I'm not in favor of the government competing with private industry. Okay, so like a government subsidized gym competing with Main Street Gym, for example, bad idea in my book. But so this rec center, it has been approved to be funded, via this bond. It went before the citizens. It passed. That's done. What's been really making it a hot topic lately is there's a group associated with the ISD, specifically the swim teams, that have eyes on this rec center as the place that they need to have a pool. Okay, and my understanding is it was pitched with a pool. Fine. I don't know if they intended it to have like an Olympic class pool that swim teams can use. I don't know what the actual plan was. But it's being, it's definitely being portrayed by the swim team parents and such as this is a drastic and immediate need for the students to be able to swim.
So hang on, let's back up 1 second here. So why don't we install our own pool in the ISD? I don't get why the ISD doesn't spend the money for it. They can put up another practice field over here.
That's an option.
But yet they can't do a pool? Please.
Okay.
I don't get it.
There's not a bond. It's got to be on a bond first.
Pools are expensive, okay? And the ISD would have to spend the money on it. So if
do you got to build one, or do you got to build two?
So that's another question. Like, do you put it at MHS and have it,
or you do like Duncanville where it's an auditorium?
Yeah, I was going to say why doesn't someone put an auditorium in and then it's available to the community?
Well, that would require the school to spend the money.
Yeah, and then who's got the land?
They do that.
That's an option for them to do.
You know how much our taxes are?
Let me ask you a question. Since we're jumping all over the place, who is in charge of purchasing and buying the land for the school district? Is that
that's
Jamie
good
Whitcliffe? I think at one time it was.
Well, so it winds up having to be approved by the school board in the end. Okay, a lot of these things, the budgets, probably land acquisition. Although again, I may be speaking out of term here. A lot of that is handled through the administration right now, headed up by Dr. Fay.
Right.
Okay, and so there are when you have temporary needs like land acquisition, a lot of times consulting firms are brought in for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know that MISD wants to fund a full-time land acquisition, department, right?
Yeah.
But we can hire a consulting firm who is an expert at this to come in and help us with one-time things, that sort of thing. So that's probably what happens. Probably, run by the administration, approved by the school board. So somebody correct me. This is going online, and so undoubtedly someone, if this is wrong, someone will be correcting me.
You're right.
That's the nice thing about the internet.
So I guess my question is, do we own the land that what you just read off, elementary 9, elementary 10?
Part of that bond was for land acquisition.
So yeah, in a location to be determined.
Yeah, so
but it's got to be.
Yeah.
But you don't have a whole lot of options of where to acquire the land because it's got to be in a certain zone.
Okay, you make a great point.
You're not going to stick one next to some piece of property near Dietrich. It's got to be strategically placed
You're 100%
to draw
right,
lines.
And you make a great point that if we do need new schools anywhere in the next, anywhere in the near future, we had better get the land for it ASAP.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and part of the bond goes to that. So if you're in support of getting new schools, then you're probably in support of them being in the right place. Then you're probably in support of obtaining that land as soon as possible so we have the best choices available.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be a vote yes for the bond thing.
Absolutely. Awesome.
Well,
So we've got a few upcoming episodes. Obviously, we're going to continue our campaign trail with the candidates who are running for city council.
So next
Are we going to reach
Thursday-
out to any school board?
So Tammy Toby, the current president of the school board,
She's running.
So the terms are several years, but
What's three?
The position, yeah, it's 3. But the positions like president, vice president, they rotate every year.
They rotate every time a chair changes. Correct. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be an election. Okay. For instance, when
I think they
Andrea
have
stepped
1-year
down,
terms
they had to. Okay,
president.
you're right. Every time a seat comes up, they vote on officers. So who's that's and that we've not talked about that. So Tammy's up because she ran in 2020.
Yeah. Okay. So let me pull it up. But yes,
Does she have an opponent?
I believe she does not. Let me pull that up here.
Well, last time they tried to. Put somebody to run against her.
All the stuff I have is for the city council.
She ended up getting 15,000 votes, 5,000 over the average of Andrea, and it was funny to me.
All the 2020 elections were huge.
Yeah, because of
COVID. The election that is normally just a local election, like city, some county, some state stuff, was pushed back to November in conjunction with the national elections.
Right.
And one may remember that the federal elections in 2020 were particularly contentious.
Yeah.
And so there was a large voter turnout, period.
Possibly fraudulent.
Yeah, but there was a huge voter turnout, because there was a hotly contested presidential race between Biden and Trump.
Yeah.
And so people who don't normally, I'll say, bother with their municipal elections turned out to vote for the president and subsequently voted for, local things. So Walter Dara ran unopposed that year.
Right.
Okay. And he holds the record for the most votes received by a single city council. And the reason for that is, all 14,000 people that
voted
turned out for the elections for Trump and Biden voted for him because he was running unopposed.
Tammy Toby got, if I remember correctly, almost 15 or over 15,000 votes in 2020.
Yeah.
In the midst of people attempting to smear her name. Yeah. That's a testament.
That was a pretty ugly race. It was. Yeah.
I after that I was like, I don't care where you stand on that issue. That woman, you got to respect her. The city spoke.
They did. Indeed.
I said it.
So there are 2 other people running for school board. As far as I know, Tammy does not have a.
Well, it would be whatever Andrea's spot was that is now occupied by. Okay, it's got to be up.
So the 2 candidates are Sherry Dawson and Ed Harrison.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ed
is. Somebody told me he was the former mayor of, Ovilla.
I believe. I don't know about that.
I don't know,
but he is the father of our HD 10.
Yeah.
Brian Harrison.
He is Brian Harrison's father.
Yeah.
And so he is running for school board against Sherry Dawson. Okay. Sherry Dawson, from my understanding, has an education background, and she is currently or recently employed by the TEA.
Yeah.
Okay. So she is in education running for school board. Ed Harrison, I'm not 100% sure what his educational related background is, if he has any, and that's not a requirement to run for school board. Running for school board, you're talking about affecting taxes and spending and things like that. So Tiffany will often tell you she doesn't have kids in the ISD.
She has tax dollars.
But she has tax dollars in the ISD. So she cares about who's on the school board.
I wish she was here tonight. I'd like to ask her what she thinks about Prop B and the tax hike on that.
Well, you know what? Next Thursday, you'll have an opportunity to ask her, and she'll probably have an opinion knowing her. But
that's why we have her.
Yeah. So we're getting close to wrapping up. But so next Thursday, March 2nd, we're going to have an interview with Mike Rogers. He is running in place 2 against Walter Dara.
Yeah.
Brandon Padilla dropped out of that race.
Yeah, found that out tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And officially dropped out. So, if he didn't care to run, then
was that the guy we've been trying to get a hold of?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we appreciate that he dropped out instead of staying on the ballot, because a lot of these dead candidates on ballots trigger runoffs and things like that just by being on the ballot. So Mike Rogers, formerly of place 2. That was his prior place when he was on the city council previously, running against Walter Dara, last minute registration.
Yep.
Called and talked to Walter ahead of time. He's
absolutely.
They're both
watch the interview with Walter as we discuss that.
Yep. Yeah. That was some really compelling stuff too.
Yeah.
So that's
I encourage everybody
Thursday.
to watch that interview.
Okay. That's March 2nd. March 9th, we have Alan McKeever coming in. He is running in place 1 against the incumbent Wayne Sibley and Alan Moorman, both of which have been on the show already, and the episodes are up for you guys to see.
So since filing's done, we will close place 1 out with
1 and 2 are closed. Yeah, and
what I'm saying is we'll have at that point once Alan McKeever comes on the show, we will have interviewed all three candidates.
That's correct.
Mike will come on and we'll have interviewed both candidates for place 2. Of course,
place 5 is not closed yet, but we had Ed Gardner today, who's being uploaded as we speak.
Yep.
And David Hurst,
March 16th, I believe.
Yes, he's coming on. Sean Wilson is also going to be on a regular episode.
Yes.
And tell us about his.
Well, Sean Wilson, he's first and foremost, he's opening up a restaurant in Founders Row called Wilson's Seafood. You might kind of know a bit about it if you ever frequent or just visited David's Seafood
in
Cedar Hill. So Sean is David Wilson's son.
Yeah, David unfortunately has passed.
Yep. And Sean Wilson is opening that restaurant here in Midlothian and Founders Row, which if you've been to Founders Row, you know that it's developed just beautifully.
It is a beautiful area. And I tell you what, so I used to love going to David's when it was open. I was sorry to hear of David's passing because he was there at the restaurant all the time, and he would come around to your table and talk to you and meet you.
Yeah.
He was just a really available guy, and the food there was fantastic. We would make a point to go there, for their seasonal crawfish boil. They honestly had one of my favorite soups. It was like a green chili soup that was just delicious.
Yeah.
I know that's not seafood,
I never went there, so
really.
You'll be in for a treat. You'll be in for a treat then, especially
great hush puppies. Just great food in general. So I am super excited that his son.
And if the building's anything like Porch Port turned out, you're in for a treat. Just as far as ambiance goes and dining.
Well, you can be guaranteed because Stephen Heidelbaugh is involved that it's going to be top shelf, whatever it is. But this sounds like a winning combination for Midlothian, a seafood restaurant run by David Wilson's son in one of Stephen's buildings.
Absolutely.
Win. So I'm going to call Stephen and pretend that I'm somebody important and beg him for some sort of early seating at that restaurant.
Let me tell you how this works. Here's how this works.
I'm not famous like you, Rob.
I know, but you will be. I assure you'll be at the soft opening. We
went to the soft opening.
We were at the soft opening at Porch Pour. It was awesome. We'll go to the soft opening at David's Seafood, or Wilson's Seafood, because Sean will he'll be on the show, and I've pretty much already talked to him about that. So we'll have us a table.
Okay.
Cement City Chatter table there.
I am looking
Great.
I'm looking forward to that.
Because I love eating here in town. I love supporting the local places. I mean, from Porch Port to Waffle House. Okay,
we know you love Waffle House.
It doesn't have
I love
to.
Waffle House.
I don't have to have a $50 meal every, sitting.
Even though when you go to Waffle House, it's a $50 meal.
No, it's ever changing. Told you that.
It changes every single time.
It doesn't change. You order everything on the menu.
No, but he gets charged something
I've
different
been charged
every time.
anywhere
He
from
does,
$8 to $24 for what I order.
So we don't have a guest schedule for the 23rd yet, but just so everybody knows.
No, we're working on that one. The guy that takes the kids and wants to help mold them into career paths. Remember we talked about him last night at Brandon Burger.
A career development guy. Yeah.
So we're going to try to get him on here soon.
Fantastic. He'll be great on the 23rd. Also on the 23rd, there is a networking event, Connecting with Coffee, run by the Chamber of Commerce. If you guys know, the Chamber of Commerce recently rehomed into the old Omega spot downtown.
Right.
Beautiful, beautiful space. And on the back of it is the old Woodrow's Coffee Shop. Also a wonderful space that's available for like gatherings and that sort of thing. So, if you have a business here in town or want to meet people at the Chamber of Commerce, I encourage you guys to go to that. The event is open to the public and available for details on Facebook.
That's great. Well, guys, I think we're just about out of time here.
Man.
Bring us home, Rob. 3
podcasts in a day, Cement City Chatter podcast. We don't sleep. All we do is record content for
4
you.
hours.
Well, hey, let's mention our swag. We just got some new swag. We got some
merch. You want a hat?
Do we have
We
any
got-
left?
We got a whole nother order.
Okay. Okay. I was
And
gonna
other
say,
colors too. You need to check them
I
out.
saw so many of those hats going
hey,
out.
Rob,
I wasn't
kick us
sure we
off
had.
here.
any
If you
left.
want a hat, if you want a hat, just get on Facebook and send us a message. We've got hats. They're for sale. We've got multiple colors, different colorways. I've designed these personally. Let me know if you want one. If you want one, I will. I'll sign. I'll sign the first 5 orders. I'll actually sign these hats. All the rest of them will be Tim's signature.
No. We want to sell them.
No.
Yeah,
we
don't-
won't.
we
We
don't-
won't.
I
No,
promise
we
I
will
won't
not
sell your
graffiti.
hat.
We'll,
Okay.
we'll,
We
we
don't
won't-
want all the classless people in town.
We will
to-
not graffiti your hat. But
classless.
I tell you what. If you watch this video, you comment hat and share the video, I'll give a hat away to one lucky winner. We'll see how that works.
The hat of your choosing. Can't be red, though. Those are special limited editions.
Limited edition.
But those are the 7-panel hats too.
Yeah.
Those
Some of them are.
Those are
Yeah.
super popular.
Yeah, some are
These
6
are,
panel, some
yeah.
are 7 panel. So it depends if you're a flat bill guy or a curved bill guy.
Yeah. Spread the word, guys. We love you, Midlothian. We'll talk to you next week. See ya.
We're out.